Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into something really fascinating, the concept of the Bodhi Mind. And this isn't just, some abstract philosophy. We're talking about a principle that can genuinely transform how you see things, how you live. It has real benefits. Our exploration today comes from a really interesting source. It's a lecture by Venerable Master Benny, translated by Chun Go from the Australian Buddhist Practice Incorporated. So our mission, really, is to unpack what generating the Bodhi Mind actually means. We'll look at its different aspects, how it might apply in surprising ways, and, well, what it takes to cultivate it. Let's get right into it.
Okay, so the master kicks things off by comparing the Bodhi mind to an adornment. That's an interesting place to start. What's that about? How is it different from, say, actual gold or silver jewelry?
Right, it's a great starting point. What's fascinating is that, yes, it adorns bodhisattvas, but it's entirely internal. It's not about showing off. Instead, it embodies these infinite merits, things like ethical discipline, that's gyu in Vietnamese, and meditative concentration, dint, and then wisdom, tut, liberation, chat thought, and finally liberated knowledge and insight, trakinje thought. These are the real adornments. They're incredibly useful, unlike, as the master points out, worldly gold and silver, which, well, they can be useless or even cause harm, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. A really powerful shift from the physical to the internal. But, thinking about traditional images like Guanyin Bodhisattva with her flower basket or vase, people cherish those. Is the master suggesting those are less important, or is it more about understanding the deeper internal reality they might symbolize?
That's a really good point.
Hmm.
And the source puts it in this larger context. It explains that bodhisattvas, because they have the Bodhi mind, they possess what are called wish-fulfilling gems, yugi-hi, which means basically they can manifest anything they need. So carrying around physical things like a basket or a vase, it's just unnecessary, cumbersome even. Their true adornment is that boundless capacity, that wisdom. So those physical symbols, while culturally significant and beautiful, are described as comparatively low grade next to the power of the mind itself. It's about prioritizing that inner reality.
Got it. Okay, so moving from adornment, this next metaphor really jumped out at me. The Bodhi mind as kalpa-ending fire. That sounds incredibly intense. What's it burning? And why use such a dramatic image?
It definitely sounds dramatic. But thankfully, the source clarifies it's not about, burning down the planet or anything like that. It targets all conditioned phenomena, but specifically, it burns away our wrong views, our perverted views. These are all the ways we misunderstand reality, like seeing things that aren't real as real, or mistaking bad for good, wrong for right. You know the drill. It's about incinerating those illusions.
Ah, okay. So it's a purification fire. It helps us wake up from those errors in thinking.
Exactly.
Is it like a constant process then, or more like a sudden flash of insight? How does that burning actually feel day to day?
Yeah, it's definitely an active, ongoing thing. It helps you realize, oh, that's wrong, or that way of thinking is harmful, or this needs to be let go of. And by clearing that away, you can then establish what is actually good, what is right, what leads to freedom in daily life.
It might show up as clearer decisions,
Yeah.
shedding old rigid beliefs, maybe just noticing much faster when you're caught in a negative thought loop, like turning on a light and seeing the dust you didn't know was there.
Right, seeing the dust. I like that. So if it burns away the unhelpful stuff, does it also nourish? The master uses another striking image, rootless medicine. That's curious. What's rootless medicine and how does it nourish all Dharma Buddha?
Yeah, rootless medicine, Fukung Sin Kan or Fukung Sin Ru, it points to something unborn or unproduced. It's a symbol for genuine awakening, Shakbuka. And the crucial point the master makes is, it's not enough to just know about awakening intellectually. You have to practice it. You have to cultivate it until it becomes part of you inherently. Otherwise, even if you understand the concept, the medicine doesn't really work, so to speak. Okay, so it's about real integration, making it your own experience. And that nourishes all Buddha Dharmas. How does that work?
Yes. The master gives this beautiful analogy. Think of a screen and the images playing on it. All those different images, they only appear because of the screen itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the same way, all Buddha Dharmas, all forms of enlightenment, they arise from and manifest through your own true nature, Tutan. This medicine, this genuine awakening, helps you connect with and cultivate that fundamental nature. So all the good qualities, the wisdom, can actually manifest from you.
That's a helpful analogy. Okay, let's keep going with these metaphors. The Bodhi mind is also like a dragon gem, dispelling poisonous afflictions, and a pure gem clarifying muddy water. This sounds very practical, like a direct fix for inner chaos.
It absolutely is. Think about the pure gem. You drop it in murky water and the water becomes clear. Similarly, the practice of reciting Buddha's name, Neatfoot, when your mind feels chaotic and turbulent, can lead to enlightenment. It makes the chaos settle, become calm and clear. It's a method for settling that inner storm.
But, and this is a big but, the source raises, lots of people recite the name, maybe thousands of times, and their minds stay chaotic. So what's the missing piece? What's the difference between just liking to recite and actually knowing how to recite?
Ah, yes, it is the critical question, isn't it? And it boils down to genuine understanding and the way you practice. The master observes that some people recite diligently, they might even wear out their prayer beads, but achieve nothing because they don't really know how. Whereas someone who does know how, even if they're simply reciting the name, can find success. The source actually outlines different approaches. There's the simple recitation of the name, Sri Dan Hishet. Then for bodhisattvas, it's deeper understanding that their own true nature is Amitabha Buddha, A representing true nature, Diya, infinite light and life.
I see.
There are also specific practices mentioned for different groups, like sound hearers in the Amitabha Sutra and bodhisattvas in the Samadhi Sutra on reciting Buddha's name. And importantly for, ordinary people like us, the Ksitigarbha Sutra Di Tangkin, Chapter 9 offers practices with other Buddhas. These are described as having low thresholds for entry.
Low thresholds,
Yeah.
meaning more accessible.
Exactly. Accessible even if your mind feels unstable or easily distracted. So it's not just about repetition, it's about the intention, the understanding, the method behind the practice.
Okay, that clarifies things. So there are various paths, various entry points, depending on where you're at. But what's the absolute rock bottom requirement, the thing you must have to even start? The source really emphasizes the 10 virtuous deeds Murithyingip. What are they, and why are they so crucial?
Well, putting it into the larger picture, the master is really unequivocal about this. Without the 10 virtuous deeds, you have basically no foundation. Zero. He uses the analogy of asking a newborn baby to do advanced geometry. It's just impossible. They don't have the basic capacity, the understanding of numbers or shapes needed. You're building on nothing without these deeds.
Wow, okay. So does that mean without this ethical groundwork, you can't even really receive help or guidance from Buddhas or bodhisattvas? That sounds like quite a high bar to clear first.
That's precisely the point made. If you have cultivated the 10 virtuous deeds, the source says Buddhas will directly support you. They'll guide you, help correct your intentions, show you the way forward in your cultivation, for without them. Well, the reason Buddha, or even God, as mentioned in the text, doesn't just speak directly to everyone is explained like this. We don't have the ears, eyes, or nose to perceive that guidance. We're compared quite bluntly to maggots just mindlessly seeking food or sleep, unable to tune into anything higher. It's about building the inner equipment needed to receive the signal, you could say.
That's a stark image, but it makes the point. Okay, this next bit really grabbed me. The master calls the 10 virtuous deeds a private line, dom de rieng to the Buddha. And then there's this concept of a heavenly drum, trong tro. What on earth are these? How do they work for someone practicing these deeds? It sounds almost like an internal alarm system.
It is. It's exactly like an internal guidance system. The heavenly drum, it's such a profound analogy. When your mind starts to get scattered or you begin to stray towards actions that aren't skillful, aren't virtuous, this drum sounds inside you. And crucially, it reminds only you of the consequences, pulls you back gently.
Only you, so it's personalized.
Yes. It's described as a special benefit for those who've cultivated the 10 virtuous deeds. They're considered heavenly beings, even while living as humans. It's like this continuous personal reminder system, guidance from the universe itself, or what's called the sound of Tathagata, M. Thanyulai, which is said to pervade all space and time. So, yeah, not just poetry, a practical inner compass. For you, the listener, maybe it manifests as that heightened sense of conscience, that inner nudge that stops you before you mess up, rather than just feeling bad afterwards, moving from rules outside to knowing inside.
An internal, intuitive knowing. That's incredible. A private line and a personal drum. But how do we actually cultivate these 10 virtuous deeds? The master says to examine every thought, word, and action, every single minute, every second. Honestly, that sounds exhausting. How do you even approach that level of constant vigilance without just giving up?
It does sound daunting initially, absolutely. Yeah. But the instruction is quite clear, if demanding. Examine your thoughts, words, actions constantly. If they align with the 10 virtuous deeds, go ahead, do them. If not, stop. Don't do them. You practice this mindfulness, this awareness, until it becomes second nature, completely natural, effortless. It's like learning any complex skill, maybe playing an instrument. At first, it's all conscious effort, very clumsy. But with practice, it becomes automatic, fluid. At that point, the master says, you become like a heavenly being living among humans. You just naturally act virtuously.
Okay, practice until it's automatic. That makes it feel a bit more manageable. Now, the source also mentions something called clinging fa bumdin or kawada chobandin, basically sticking close to a teacher or a Buddha as a path. Is that recommended? Does it work?
The master acknowledges it is a form of clinging, yes, but he immediately adds it's far from easy. It takes tremendous effort. You need this powerful superglue of awakening jock to stay connected when you're constantly being pulled by worldly afflictions and temptations. The story of Yasodhara, the Buddha's wife, is used as an example. She clung successfully, but because she held on to that core awakening, that understanding, without that wisdom anchoring it, just clinging could easily become unhealthy attachment or dependency, which isn't the aim at all. It needs to be clinging with wisdom.
Got it. Clinging with wisdom. So finally, for someone listening who might feel a bit overwhelmed, maybe thinks of themselves as, just an ordinary, even foolish person, how long does the master suggest it would take to actually achieve these 10 virtuous deeds and start getting these benefits, like hearing that heavenly drum?
This is where the answer is really quite surprising and honestly very encouraging, he says. Only 3 years.
3 years. That's much shorter than I would have guessed.
Yeah, right. And get this, even achieving just one of the 10 deeds is enough to start hearing that sound of Tathagata, that subtle guiding wisdom. So it's not like you have to wait 3 years for any benefit. The process starts yielding results almost right away. It makes it seem remarkably achievable, even if it requires consistent effort.
Wow. Okay, what an incredible deep dive this has been. We've really unpacked a lot. We learned that generating the Bodhi mind isn't some far-off ideal, but a dynamic, living force. It acts as this beautiful, truly useful adornment of inner qualities like wisdom. It's a purifying fire for our mistaken views. It's like a rootless medicine helping us cultivate genuine enlightenment. And it's a gem that can clarify and purify our minds when they get chaotic.
Exactly. And the key takeaway, as the source material makes so powerfully clear, is that the pathway to unlocking all these incredible benefits really starts with the foundational practice of the 10 virtuous deeds. It's all about cultivating that inner capacity, starting with the basics, our thoughts, our words, our actions, so we can actually connect with that universal wisdom and guidance.
And that idea that anyone, even someone feeling foolish, can cultivate these fundamental virtues in just 3 years, and by doing so, gain access to that private line, that inner heavenly drum, that's just truly inspiring, isn't it? It really changes the perspective on what's possible for us.
It really does. And it brings up a vital question for each of us listening, I think. If cultivating this basic ethical foundation is actually within reach for us, and it opens the door to such direct wisdom, such tangible support, well, what are we waiting for?
Indeed. Something profound to ponder as you continue your own deep dive into knowledge, and maybe, just maybe, into your own mind.